And now, with that being said, we could take that back to Joshua chapter 24, verse 4. And I gave unto Isaac Jacob and Esau. And I gave unto Esau Mount Seir to possess it, but Jacob and his children went down into Egypt. Okay, we already traced down Esau to Mount Seir, and we traced that to the end time as Esau's new name being called Jew. Now we have to find out what happened to Jacob / Israel. But his children and his family went down into Egypt. So let us pick it up from the story of Egypt. Exodus chapter 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man in his household came with Jacob: Reuben, Simon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. And the children of Israel were fruitful, and increased abundantly, and multiplied, and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramesses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, When you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then you shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared Yahweh, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why have you done this thing, and have saved the men child alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them. Therefore Yahweh dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Yahweh, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, Every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive. Just some of the things that this black nation called Israel had to go through when they came into Egypt. That's why when you see the hieroglyphics on the Egyptian wall inside of the tombs and the pyramids, you see black people beating and killing another black race. The Egyptians was black in ancient times. The original Egyptians and the original Hebrews was black too. But during history and everything being watered down and people being moved out in slavery, you have imposters these days that move into other lands and try to claim the same people, but it's impossible because the original is the real. Okay, we're going to pick it up at Exodus chapter 2, verse 23. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto Yahweh by reason of the bondage. And Yahweh heard their groaning, and Yahweh remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Yahweh looked upon the children of Israel, and Yahweh had respect unto them. Okay, so we cried because of reason of the bondage. That's why we cried. So let's define bondage and get a clear understanding through the book of understanding what this word really means. And we're going to be dealing with the Random House Webster's College Dictionary, the book of understanding I obviously have in my hand. And we're going to define bondage. So we won't be ignorant to the understanding. Bondage, slavery, or involuntary servitude, serfdom, the state of being bound by or subjected to some external power or control, the state or practice of being tied up, chained, or the like for sexual gratification. So, the bondage, you basically a slave and they can do whatever they want to do to you. So this is why we was crying in Egypt, because we was in slavery. But they never tell you how long we were in slavery in Egypt. See, when we left out of Egypt, we had been serving them for 430 years. That's when we served the Egyptians, for 430 years. And that is Exodus chapter 12, verse 40 and 41. Now the sojourning of the children of Israel who dwelt in Egypt was 430 years. And it came to pass at the end of the 430 years, even the selfsame day it came to pass that all the hosts of Yahweh went out from the land of Egypt. So we were in slavery in Egypt and bondage for 430 years. And we all know how we were brought out by the mighty hand of Moses. Now we're going to pick it up right where Moses left off, about how the children of Israel came to be a people. See, Yahweh did so many wonders for us, and he showed so many signs to us where I couldn't believe that we couldn't follow it. Like Yahweh used Moses to deliver the 10 commandments to us. But Moses delivered more than 10 commandments to us. Those were the commandments. Moses delivered 613 laws out of the Holy Scriptures to us to live by. Why do we have to live by them? Because remember, we were created him, meaning he created himself. And we are actually in Yahweh's image. And Yahweh want us to be in his image physically, mentally, and spiritually. And he won't have it no other way. Either you turn to Yahweh or you be forced to the garbage can. This is Moses warning the people. Because the Hebrew Israelites was a very, very evil people. They couldn't follow no instructions. They couldn't follow no directions, no commandments, no nothing, because they had that spirit of slumber on them. But we're going to pick it up at Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 23. Take heed unto yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of Yahweh your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image or the likeness of anything which Yahweh thy God hath forbidden thee. For Yahweh thy God is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and you shall remain long in the land, and shall corrupt yourselves, and make a graven image or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of Yahweh thy God, to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that you shall soon utterly perish from off the land whereto you go over Jordan to possess it. You shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall utterly be destroyed. And Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yahweh shall lead you. And there you shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. Now see, those sound like some very harsh punishments on the Israelites. But see, you have to come into an understanding of the mindset of the Israelites. They were a very rebellious and stiff-necked people, man. I mean, they did what they wanted to do. So many times Yahweh had destroyed people just to get us away from them. Over and over and over, we would never listen. Every time we went out, he would have to destroy everything and bring us back until he got tired of other people getting destroyed because we wanted to be ignorant. So now he finally turned to destruction on the people who deserve it, which is us. We the ones that made this bed. Now we laying in it, we can't take it. But when we was back at home and we had all the knowledge and everything was taught to us in total peace and security, we didn't want that. We wanted to go over here and sacrifice to this sun god, go over here, sacrifice to this cow god, just do everything that the heathen were. He said we'll spread them on the heathen, and heathen is what we're going to define in the next lesson.